Hey guys, this series is about explaining what is Christianity. That's why I'm calling the series What is Christianity? Playlist, whatever, it's a playlist. So, I decided to start episode 1 of the series with the Trinity. Are the metaphors you're using right? How do you describe it? And why it makes sense. Fact number 1. It's only one God, is what it's literally kind of teaching. You do not believe that 1 + 1 + 1 = 3. That's a straw man. An extremely stupid straw man, too. This point can be found in literally most of the Bible. It's just you don't even need to have a paper Bible. You just like go on your cell phone, go to Safari or Google or DuckDuckGo, whatever you have. Search up any Bible passage. Just look up Bible verse, Bible chapter, Bible book, whatever, and you'll be able to find that the Bible teaches only one God in less than a minute, usually, probably. Especially in the Old Testament too, because there was so much competition. Between different religions, because Judaism was a very, very small religion at the time. Point number 2. Now we're getting to point number 2. What's point number 2? The Father, or what you might also know as almost Old Testament God, which I think is inaccurate, because it's always everywhere, if you know what I mean. Always 3 persons are in the whole Bible, if you look at it. But if God the Father is God. One perfect example would be the Lord's Prayer, for example. It says, "Our Father who's in heaven." Roughly quoting, not I don't know if that's any translation. That's probably, I don't know, NIV, but I don't know. I'm not going to always quote no KJV, nothing. So, Father, yes, and Father equals God. Point number 3. The Son is God. I know all Jehovah's Witnesses and everyone is going to get, I know some people are going to get mad at me this, but if you ask any New Testament scholar, they'd say that the belief goes back to at least Paul, and almost undoubtedly earlier. They might not all say that it goes back to the earliest apostles, but it was a belief that went back to the early 1st century, most likely 40s, 50s, or even 30s AD. You can find this throughout the whole Old Testament. You can even find some evidence that the Messiah is divine in Isaiah, when it says that the Messiah, or Anointed One, will be riding on a cloud. Something only used for God in Isaiah. Point number 4. The Holy Spirit is God. Look at one of Paul's letters. Or look at the last verse of Matthew, where it says to baptize all followers in the name of the Father and the Son and the Holy Spirit. That just goes over the last 3 points that we had. I forgot about that. Point number 5. These are all distinct. Some people think that the Father, Son, and Holy Spirit are all just different expressions. But that's not true, because how come in the story of, for example, John the Baptist, we see the Father sends the Holy Spirit onto the Son? How can they interact? It's not a one-man play, if you know what I mean. It's not a one-man play. It's obviously not a one-man play. What was point number 7? Oh yeah, so they're all distinct. They're all distinct, that's the point, basically. I don't know, there's usually a 7-point thing. It usually goes, there's only one God, the Father is God, the Son is God, the Holy Spirit is God, the Holy Spirit is not the Son is not the Father, and the Holy Spirit is not the Father. That's usually the 7-point thing that they do. I don't know, I just made up my own 7 points, but hope that clears things up, mostly. And now, I'd like to educate you, on some of the language that is used, and how it ties back into Greek philosophy, and if you say like, ah, Greek philosophy, evil pig and stuff, added in the Council of Nicaea. Well, not really, because Paul kind of says this thing. It's all about, so basically, early Greek philosophers had theories about there's this form. Everything had like a heavenly, idealized form, and basically, form is nature. Form is the same as nature, the nature of something. So basically, the idea that a lot of the early church fathers in the 4th, 5th, 6th centuries said is that the Father, Son, Holy Spirit have one form or one nature, which is metaphysical category that is used in Greek philosophy, and you can go to different things to explain that. To other YouTube channels. Testify has a really good video on it. Redeemed Zoomer has a very good video on it. I forgot, it was in his like video. It was like every heresy explained in 10 minutes. I forgot if it was part 1 or part 2. Just go to one of those, or Testify. Why the Trinity is both logical and biblical. Person. This should be pretty understandable. So yeah, those are the different metaphysical categories, and apologetics. Apologetics Roadshow, or whatever you call him, Roadshow. He's the guy who loves debunking Muslims. I guess he explained this one thing in a good way, but I think I don't know if it's the best way, because it seems a bit partialist, but even though I don't think he's partialist. But basically, he originally said that what Muslims say is like, if there's one house but it's made out of 1,000 bricks, then the Muslim is like the one that says, haha, you think that 1,000 equals 1, how can you have one house but 1,000 bricks? But I'd change that to there's one house, but it costs $500,000, and then the Muslims are like the ones who say, haha, you think 1 equals 500,000. So yeah, because a brick is a part of a house, and I'm not trying to be partialist. Goodbye. Now to the metaphors thing that I promised at the beginning. So, one common metaphor is that the Trinity is like ice, water, and steam, but that's like what I call modalism. It's not what I call modalism. It's what has been called modalism for over 1,000 years. That hundreds and hundreds of years. And basically, it's because it can't be ice, water, and steam at the same time. But we know God is Father, Son, Holy Spirit, all at the same time. So yeah, like I said, it's not a one-man show. It's not like sometimes God plays the role of Holy Spirit, sometimes Son, sometimes Father. No, because we see in the Bible, for example, John the Baptist, the Father sends the Holy Spirit onto the Son in the story of John the Baptist baptizing Jesus. So it's not a one-man show. So that metaphor, throw it in a can, make it go to a landfill. Yep. Now, 3 leaves on a shamrock. This is partialism. It's not like the Holy Spirit is 1/3 of God's nature. No, the Father is 1/3. No, they're all the completeness, each in and of themselves. Each person in the Trinity is the fullness in and of themselves. I said in and of themselves too much. Basically, I was thinking, so basically there's one last one. The sun, heat, and light. This makes it seem like the Father and Son are, creations of the Holy Spirit. Or that the Holy Spirit and Son are creations of the Father, is what I meant. Or like kind of diminishes them. Or diminishes 2 of them and uprises 1 of them. So yeah, so that's not right. One time I thought of a metaphor. Most of you aren't gonna understand it, except like some random nerds out there. But I used to think that it could be almost like the relationship between the electromagnetic and the weak force field, but no. I'm probably the only one who's ever made up that metaphor, so I didn't need to say that. But goodbye. And remember, just kind of don't use metaphors, because metaphor, you can't put a metaphor on the infinite.